Okay, this will be a short tutorial on how to use Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a great place to start. It has really good quality resources, peer-reviewed articles, books, dissertations, conference proceeding papers. You may not want to use a dissertation. It's usually 100 to 200 pages in length, so you won't want to read all that. So you might want to disregard those when you find those in your search, okay? But we have a search field here, and what we're going to do is create a search string. So I'm just going to do climate change to start. You'll see that we have almost 4 million resources that pop up. Way too many to go through, and you can see that they're very broad. Climate change, changing climate in the United States, pretty broad. Impacts, this one looks pretty good. Impacts, adaptation, and vulnerability. But what I do is I search what I find, and then I look to see if there's other phrases that pop up that maybe I could use to make my search better. So I'm going to also use what are called Boolean searching strategies. And one of those strategies is to use quotation marks. So you see, I tried to do a little bit of searching before I did this tutorial. So these are some of the searches that I came up with. And what I like about Google Scholar is it will give you some possibilities. So maybe you might want to do climate change impacts. 3 million is still a lot. But if you use quotation marks around a phrase, you can narrow down, because it's only going to find climate change as a phrase next to each other, not the word climate and not the word change. And then another Boolean strategy is to use capital AND to connect phrases. So since impacts is one word, I don't have to use quotation marks. Okay, so that's still quite a bit. So I can now limit by year. So in science, a lot of times you want more recent literature because science changes so quickly and so frequently. So that narrowed down from 3 million or 2 million down to 35,000. And what kind of impacts am I looking at? So you kind of have to think through your search string that you're creating with your words. What are you really looking for? Like human well-being. So maybe I want health impacts. So if I add the word health to impacts, then I do want to use quotation marks because that's a phrase. And I'm down to 17,000. So now I'm finding things that are definitely more in line of what I'm interested in searching. Health impacts, women's health impacts, policy directions, human mobility. So these are definitely closer to what I'm looking for, okay? So now over here on the right, I'm going to look to see if I can find any of these resources available open access. So BioMedCentral.com is an open access database that I know about. So I can click directly on there and it will take me to that journal, Environmental Health, which is open access. It says right here. And I should have a download PDF. Before you download, you may want to read the abstract and make sure that it's what you're looking for. And then I can click download PDF and I should be able to download. So I don't need any special access. It's out there and it's available for anyone. MDPI.com, this says a PDF, which means it probably is a PDF. And if I click on it, it should open up the PDF right away for me. So this is also a journal article that you may want to use in your research. Okay. This one, Science Direct, I know is not an open database. So I'm not going to click on that. It will give me access because I'm at the University of Utah and I'm logged on to my computer. But it will not give you access and it will ask you for money to purchase the articles. So you want to make sure that you're not purchasing any articles. You're just looking for free ones that you can find. ScienceMag.org is an open database and it is a PDF, so I could click there. So don't worry about which ones to click on and which ones not to click on. If you find a good article, just going to open that one up. Maybe doesn't seem to want to open. Oh, there it is. Oh, it has a lot of graphics in it. So this is climate change and biodiversity. Oh, that's an interesting topic. So this is another article. Okay. So if you click on this, you'll know right away if it's open access, because it won't give you the full text of the article and it will ask you to pay. So just close it and go to the next one. Another cool thing about Google Scholar is it has these cited bys. So for this first article, if this was a really good article that I would like, I can click on cited by 126. And this will show me all 126 people that have cited this article. So see now, instead of having thousands, I have 126 up here. So this is going to show me all the articles that have cited that article. And since that article was a good article for you, then these possibilities may also be good for you as well. Okay. So the cited bys are really handy. It's like a way to dig down into the literature on the topic. And you'll see a lot of them. This one has 140, this one has 77, this one has 1,000, over 1,000 people have cited it just in the past 3 years. So this looks like a pretty good article. In this article, you'll notice that the author names also have an underline under them. And that means that they have set up a Google Scholar profile, and you can click on that and you can see the researcher, Greta Peckel, if that's how you say her name. She's from Australia. And these are all the articles that she has published. So you may, if the article that she wrote in Google Scholar was a good article for you, you may want to take a look at her other articles here. So this was the biodiversity article. So she's talking about climate change and oceanography. So if I click that title, I may be able to get this article as well. So if I click here, it takes me to a website. And I don't think you can get access to it, but let's try. So if it gives me access, it will be because, oh yeah, so it's going to Elsevier, but even I don't have access to that. It says get access, and it will only show me this text. Okay. So you'll just have to click around until you find articles that are open for you that you can download a PDF, because you'll need a full text PDF in order to read it and to cite it. So you don't want to be citing just from the abstract alone. Okay. You can see there's quite a few. Full view. This one, PLOS, is a open access journal as well. Climate change has affected global food production. And then over here is the download. So you're always looking for the download PDF button. And each journal and database will have them in different places. It's like a scavenger hunt. They make it difficult for you to find them. And then you can just go through just like you would with Google and take a look at these articles. Okay. If you're starting to see things that maybe I do want to do biodiversity, so I can add biodiversity up here. So I'm going to do climate change and impacts and biodiversity, and it will narrow down even more. And now I'll be seeing mostly diversity, biodiversity as well. You can click on the menu over here and come down to advanced search. And I can say right now it's set to anywhere in the article to find those words. But if I say in the title of the article, that will narrow down. So that went from 2,000 down to 44. Okay, but watch how far you narrow down, because sometimes that will limit your accessibility to open access articles. And the last thing on Google Scholar is these little quotation marks. So this quotation mark, if I click on that, it will show me how to cite that article in all these different formats: MLA, APA, Chicago. So if you were citing an MLA, you can copy and paste this citation, but a disclaimer, they are not always correct. And you may have to go in and edit them. I have found all kinds of errors in these Google Scholar citations, as well as in our own databases in the library when I use the cite button. It brings up an incorrect citation, and that depends on how the person that added that article into the database typed it in. So if they typed it in incorrectly, then it will come out incorrectly. Okay, so that is how you use Google Scholar to search your terms. So remember to use the Boolean searching, quotation marks, and the letter and the word "and" in capital letters to connect your phrases. And you'll notice at the top that now that I said I only want those words in the title, it says all in title : and then the same search terms. So now it's only looking in the title. Okay.